There is a beauty and clarity that comes from simplicity that we sometimes do not appreciate in our thirst for elaborate and intricate solutions. Dieter F. Uchtdorf. My friends, we keep it simple. KISS, keep it simple and straightforward, or as it was known when I was in the Marine Corps, keep it simple, stupid. And again, why? Because of Occam's razor. Occam's principle tells us that we want to keep things as simple as possible. And I always remember what Einstein said, but not more simple than that. In other words, we want to make sure everything's honed down to what works, because simple is always better. And I have found nothing better, nothing more simple than Heikin Ashi candlesticks and volume. You put price movement and volume together, and man, do you have just an unbeatable solution to being able to figure out what is going on in the mind of the market. Let's jump into these charts. I'm doing this about 5 minutes before the market closes today. We see that stocks and gold are down. Bitcoin and bonds are up. Not a whole lot of movement except in Bitcoin. We'll get to that in a minute. So let's jump first into the S&P 500. You can see where things popped up in the morning, pulled back some in the afternoon, down about 0.1%. So we do see, as this week starts off, green candle form. Remember, this is a Heikin Ashi candlestick, so it's showing us the average pace. If you've not taken our Heikin Ashi training, I'm going to put it at the end of today's video just for you. I want you to take it so you understand how these average pace candlesticks work, how they're calculated, and how you can get a green candle on a day where the market's actually down a little bit. It's because it's giving us averages of the prior movement averaged with, again, I want you to take it so you understand. And so when you look at a Heikin Ashi candlestick, you know what it is you're seeing and why they are so valuable. So as we look, we see that, again, price moving right up 4 stair steps. You know, we've had 3 weeks of prior up movement. We go back 5 weeks and we can see, well, we go back 6 weeks, we can see where we had a doji, lots of indecision, but that was worked out. And as we have seen, things have just continued moving up, going into the 5th week. Down a little bit for the day. We'll see where things go from here. But again, price on the 2-day and the half-day chart decently above that strong weekly trend line. What about the NASDAQ 100? It's down 0.4%, 0.41%. But again, it appears to be forming again another up candle. See what was up in the morning, burn that off in the afternoon. The Heikin Ashi candlestick takes that into consideration. The new candle is forming on the 2-day on all these charts. It'll finish forming tomorrow, but again, it's above that weekly trend line. We can update that trend line a little bit by just moving it up that candle, and you can see as we do that, let's see if I can get rid of that. There we go. As we do that, you can see how it sort of resets it. Now, we love to have actually 4 candles, well, 3 or more candles all connected like we see on the S&P 500, but we, again, can't get that on. I mean, maybe we could go back a little further, and there we go. We're leaving out last week's. Again, much more pretty looking at the S&P, but again, and you know what we might be able to do? We might even be able to go, no, see, we want to stay in the middle. We're not quite in the middle there, so we'll just connect those 3. But that is where we are, price well above, like I might have already said, the 2-day and the half-day on that weekly trend line on both those charts. Now, let's look at where we are on 20-year bonds. We're now going to be able to reset from here because we now have a second candle that's actually going down. Now, bonds, we're up a little bit, or up a little bit right now, 0.17%. We can see down in the morning, up some in the afternoon, well below that weekly trend line on the half day, well below on the 2-day. In fact, setting up as we start the week even a little lower, which is not necessarily a bad thing. We'll see as the week progresses. Of course, we had that week where we saw volume top out. We're talking the week beginning the 29th of January. Volume top out. And of course, we had a green spinning top. And we had all that up movement, but died on the vine and then reverted back to where it was going before, which is down. Let's look at gold. Gold is down for the day. And again, gold has sort of been hovering around as we look at it. We saw it bounce off that ceiling that we can take all the way back to May of last year. It hit that on the week on the last week of the year, first week of the year, then moved down for 3 weeks, and then topped it again, and then has rolled back over. As we start this week, we have a red down candle with a little wick on the bottom. Don't let these dashes fool you. Always move off of it to actually see what's there. And there's a tiny little wick there. And of course, on the 2-day, it is below that weekly trend line now, as is the half-day down 0.26% right now. We'll keep an eye on things. Now, let's move on to the VanEck Bitcoin Trust. This is the new VanEck Bitcoin Trust. The old one, XBTF, that we tracked for so long, is gone. Now we have a new one. And what is it doing? Well, it is moving up quite strongly, 5.66%. Now, of course, we can see where things were up in the morning and about, well, let's see, what's the high in the afternoon? High in the afternoon was 56.92, and in the morning, 57.02. So we've not hit that high in the morning again this afternoon, but again, things clicking up quite nicely. Now, we can't really compare a whole lot of things because this is such a short chart. It just started going on 6 weeks ago. So we'll go to the 24-hour a day Bitcoin chart. And again, we can see as we reset these lines how it is taking off. The first day of this latest 2-day candle moving up quite markedly, 3.77%. And that's taking into account what it did over the weekend. I mean, this is a 24-hour a day Bitcoin chart, so you can see Saturday in there. That takes into account what went on Saturday and Sunday as we go into Monday. But again, as we look at things, Bitcoin just again catching on fire. The most recent high we had back in that second week of the year at $49,048 has now been surpassed with $50,333. Things moving up quite nicely, price well above the weekly trend line on the 2-day and well above it on the half-day. Things are looking bright. We'll continue to keep an eye on volume, see where it goes. We saw that volume on the 2-day chart last peak on the Thursday. Friday didn't peak over the weekend. And of course, this latest one, volume is higher than it was over the weekend, I guess, as one would expect. We don't usually look at a 24-hour a day chart, so it's a bit of a learning curve for us, but we will keep an eye on it. And of course, we'll pay attention as Bitcoin just starts catching on fire. Isn't it beautiful? We always love to hear from you, my friend CW@chartingwealth.com. God bless, all the best from the whole team at Charting Wealth World Headquarters.